guess we're good.
Okay. Yeah, you look good. You sound good.
You too. How's the week?
Well,
Uh-oh.
good news first. Yeah,
Yep.
every time I say well, it's like it could go either way. It's like good news first. My trolley train expedition is over.
Yay.
My train, the one train, starts tomorrow. So
Good.
looking forward to that.
That's a
There were
good thing.
some interesting characters on the trolley. You don't take public transportation, right? Not often or ever.
Well, the opportunity doesn't come up that often for me.
Right. Yeah.
I've used Uber twice now, 3 times. And yeah, I mean, I've taken taxis when I'm in Vegas or something like that. But
Right.
buses don't go where I go usually. I mean to work.
Yeah.
And there is a bus that goes in the morning, but it leaves like an hour before I would leave, and it gets back roughly about the same time.
Yeah. There's, like I said, there's some interesting characters on the trolley. There's a growing trend. You may have come across this even in other situations where people tend to listen and watch their phone without earbuds.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't get it.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? You're in public. You're other people can hear what you're doing and saying and whatever.
I can understand you open up a quick message or, like there's a few seconds of music or advertisement or something. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're actively watching something on your phone, you're watching a video. I'm waiting for the trolley one morning.
Yeah.
And this young couple walks up to the trolley and the girl has music playing on her phone.
Okay.
Right. I'm a little annoyed, but okay. We get on the trolley. She keeps it on the trolley.
Yeah.
And they're talking, and it's like some dance music or whatever. It's like they're in their own little club. It's like they're in their own little nightclub. All right. So they're talking, the music's playing. And I'm like, what are you doing, guys? What are you doing? Then an older guy gets on. You could tell he's not all there. He talks to himself, but he has full conversations like he's on the phone. I thought he was on a Bluetooth. So he sits across from them. So they started getting annoyed at him talking, so they make their music louder. And I'm like, no. It's like,
I don't understand people.
So I am so glad. I'm still going to run into, the people.
Oh, the train's still going to have those people, but
the one other thing is the trolley really at one time has maybe 5 people at the most.
Yeah.
At once, and then people get on, people get off or whatever, but it's not a full trolley.
Okay.
So one day I'm going home and this kid gets on, no mask. All right. And SEPTA is trying to keep it mandatory, please wear a mask.
Yeah.
So he's a young guy. I don't know, maybe young teens, maybe 20. I don't know, whatever. He gets on. There's maybe 3 people on the whole trolley. He sits directly behind me. Okay. All right. I can live with that. Guess what he does next, Bill? He starts calling out the stops. Springfield Road, next. I'm like, what? So after I heard that, I got up. I just moved. Yeah.
Maybe he works for the trolley company. Maybe he's just trying to help you out.
Well, what would help out is silence. That would help.
I don't understand that. I'm with you. I'm just kidding, man. But that's wow.
That's weird. That's weird stuff, right?
Yes, it is.
It's out of the ordinary.
It's weird that he's saying it like loudly, but I can see that as being an affectation of, I don't know, ADD, ADHD, some sort of obsessive compulsive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to come and sit right behind you and then start calling that out
On
with
an
like
empty trolley. On an
on the
empty
trolley.
trolley, he sat behind me.
Yeah, I've been in a movie theater almost by myself and had somebody come and sit like, well, okay, so to be fair, it was at the ArcLight in Hollywood. So you pick your tickets, you pick your seats when you buy your ticket.
Right, it's assigned seating. Yeah.
Right. And so when I got there, I was literally the only, there were nobody had bought tickets. So I picked like as close to dead center of the theater, both front to back and side to side as I could get. And so I sort of understand these people getting the seat too away from me. But also I'm like, when you look at the screen, it shows the seat that's taken. This woman and her son, well, that was the other thing too. I thought I was going to get to watch a movie all by myself, and it was like 11 o'clock on a weekday, and this woman and her son, her school-age son, comes walking in at 10 to 5 to 11 on like a Tuesday, and I'm like, why isn't your kid in school? What are you doing taking your kid? And I think it was a Kevin Smith movie, which I'm also like, why are you taking your, I don't know, 11-year-old kid to see a Kevin Smith movie at this time of the morning?
Do you remember which one?
I don't remember which one. You know what? It might have been Cop Out.
Oh,
The one with Bruce Willis. And so that one maybe, but still the language in it, it's going to be. So, but yeah, so they knew, or she had to know, or have seen on the map where I was sitting.
Right, because you would have seen their seats purchased if
she'd already purchased them, I would have seen it.
Yeah.
So she shows up. They literally walk to my row. She looks up the row at me and where I'm sitting. And with her kid, she grabs her kid's arm and goes one row in front and then almost right in front of me. Yeah.
She had one of those stovetop hats like Lincoln too, right?
It was the weirdest thing because I was just like, at that point, I know you purchased a seat. Sit anywhere else. Sit 2 rows away from me. Sit behind me, but don't sit almost right in front of me.
All you have to do is move.
Yeah.
There's no one else there.
So I was just like, people are weird. People are odd. I don't know what that is. No, I've hunkered down again and just trying to stay. It's enough that I don't want to get sick. But then I have my parents to worry about because I have been seeing them, and I still go to work, and it's like I don't want to get people that I work with sick. So I have enough complications or interactions in my day that I don't need to add to that. So yeah, the cigar bars. Like the last time I went to the cigar bar, I met with 2 friends, and the place it wasn't full. Like I've been there when it's full, where all the seats are taken and there's a bunch of people standing around. But most of the seats were full. There weren't as many people standing around, but it's like, you just start getting into a situation and you're talking to people and when there's people there, if they're sitting next to you or sitting next to your friend and you're talking to your friend, well, they're right there and you start conversation. We actually had a really nice conversation with these 2 guys sitting next to us that night.
Right.
And it's just, you don't know. And so, no, I have sort of crossed that off the list for a little while until this gets under control again. How about you?
Oh, no socializing whatsoever.
Really?
No. This is about it. This is
okay. Well, then I really apologize for last Sunday because, yeah, this is it. I feel bad for you because I'm it. Uh-oh.
No. I am kind of socializing at work because I'm with two other guys I've worked with for years and years, and we're talking about current events and all different whatever's going on in our lives and stuff like that. So I am in a way I am socializing there.
Yeah.
But it's like, home, go to work, get home,
or if you need to,
and take care of my son.
Yeah.
That's
well, and so I kind of pulled back to that where I'm like, okay, store, home, work.
Right, and stores. Yeah, I have to get to a store.
That's kind of enough.
But I do self-checkout. I don't even deal with.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't deal with a cashier or anything. Yeah.
I'm just, I'm afraid that they're going to get, well, two things. One, those self-checkout things, they always screw me somehow. It's like you got to run the same thing again. Not always, but or you get something that isn't barcoded or it's barcoded wrong, and like, well, and then you got to find somebody and, oh, well, this is wrong. Why?
Or it tells you, please put the thing back in the bagging area.
Exactly.
It's in the bagging area. It's just a little to the left. That's it.
Doing.
Okay.
It's like, or it's too big, so it doesn't fit in the bagging area. Well, I'm not going to put it in the bagging area because it doesn't fit in the bagging area, but you're going to tell me to put it in the bag. So
they got stuff covered with saran wrap. They got the buttons covered with saran wrap.
Oh, do they?
One day I accidentally hit, do you want cash back? I accidentally hit the $60 instead of the red button. And I don't need cash.
Yeah. Right now you don't.
Nobody's dealing in cash. So now, I can use it for my laundry card.
There you go.
Because the laundry machine takes the cash. But otherwise,
okay.
I
so yeah, that's and the thing is, I understand that they're putting the saran wrap or whatever over the clear wrap over.
Mm-hmm.
After the first person, that stuff's now contaminated too.
Well, sometimes they spray it. Sometimes there's an employee spraying it before the next person.
Oh, well, that's a good idea. I haven't seen that.
Hit or miss, though. I've seen them do it often, but not every time.
The places I've seen here, my local grocery store, as a matter of fact, did not have that. They at one point they had the clear wrap over the keypad, but nobody was wiping it down or spraying it between customers. And I was the third customer in line that day, and I'm just sitting there watching people. I'm like, everybody's touching that. And then the last time I went, it was gone. They didn't even have it anymore.
Yeah, I don't see a reason for it. Just use sanitizer.
Yeah,
and don't touch your face or your hand. I don't touch my face until I use sanitizer, get out of there, and then I take my mask off. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was curious about the cigar bar. Are there a lot of women there?
Not a lot.
Right.
Occasionally there's none. But when I went to meet my friends, one of my friends is a woman, but she used to own a cigar store.
Oh, okay.
She's involved. She's very involved. Actually, she's a master tobacconist. There's a school, Tobacconist University. Yeah, Tobacconist University, and they.
Oh, wow.
It's no. She actually changed the history of cigars. So this Tobacconist University offers different classes to get basically ratings for different things. Like you can become, as a private person, I can take some classes and become better at tasting or more knowledgeable about tasting and different things. But as a cigar store owner, you can, or someone in the industry, you can take classes. And think of it as like a master's degree, but for cigars. So to do what she did to become a master tobacconist, she had to visit I don't remember. She had to visit a certain number of tobacco plantations, and it was a decent number, like 8 or 10, something like that. So she and another friend of ours who is into cigars would go to Honduras or Dominican Republic or Nicaragua and go to these different places and go into the fields and go into the curing barns and talk to the cigar makers and learn. So she had to do a bunch of this stuff. She learned how to roll cigars as part of this. And I don't know if it was technically part of her certification. It was one of the things that she had to do, is to watch and learn how to roll cigar, or learn how they roll cigars. And I think that was one of those things that she kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually took it upon herself to learn how to roll cigars. I don't remember if that was.
Where did she get the interest in that? Was it through her father? I'm making
I
it.
know what
I'm
I
making
don't.
it a sexist thing. Was it through her dad?
Yeah. No, her mom was a huge cigar smoker. No,
Was
her
it?
mom was not a cigar. You know what? I don't remember if I know we've talked about that before. God, what was it? Her grandfather's? Because it was my grandfather that got me into it, or not got me into it, who smoked when I was a kid. So was it when I got older, because he passed away when I was 14 or 15. When I got older and was like, and this is the cigar boom of the 90s. So like 93, 94. And I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to try a cigar. So I walked into a cigar bar and or a cigar store and bought a couple cigars. And for her, I don't remember exactly how she got into it. I know she had moved up here from the LA area, and she and her husband had bought a cigar store. And then they got a divorce and they had to sell the cigar store, but she liked doing that. And so an opportunity came up for her to buy another little location and put in a cigar store, and she did.
I don't even know if you could think of this or remember it, but what was one of the best conversations you had at a cigar bar?
A lot of good conversations with a lot of different people about a lot of different things. The best one for me, there was a guy who was from Minneapolis, I believe, or the Minneapolis area. He showed up one day and didn't really talk to him, just kind of said, hi, how you doing? Sat down and had a smoke, talked to Christina, who was my friend who owned the store. And this guy was involved in the conversation a little bit. And I don't know if he left or like the next time I went in, I was saying, who was that guy? He said, oh, he's here working with some partners. He does, I think it was real estate based software. It's like he created software for realty companies or something like that. And he was working with some partners out here. And so those partners out here had a converted barn on their property. And so he lived in the converted barn when he was out here. Plus they had multiple cars. He could borrow one of the cars, but he was a cigar smoker. And she was probably within 5-10 miles of her shop. So he found her shop and would come over there. Well, the next time I went in that he was there, I just kind of chatted him up. And it was just really interesting to have that conversation with this guy who was a true legitimate entrepreneur, started his own companies, sold those companies, and then started another company. This was, I believe, the third company. It was either the third company or he had sold his third company and this was the fourth company. I can't remember now. But yeah, but all of them were real estate software related. And I just had a really cool conversation with him about being an entrepreneur and how he thinks. And we got into the conversation that was really cool. The part of it that was really cool was him talking about the first company. The first company got to a certain point and he said, I started this thing. I need to be involved in every decision that's being made. That's just me. At a certain point, you can't be involved. You don't have the time. You can't be involved in every decision that's being made.
Yeah, especially if it's growing. Yeah.
Right. You need to delegate.
Mm-hmm.
But in my head, I'm like, well, this is my baby. This is my thing that I'm. So not that he didn't trust the people. It was like an obsessive thing with him. I need to be involved in everything. And so he figured out that about 25 people is the max that he can have working for him. Because then it gets to that point where you need to start letting go, and he's not good at letting go. So he sold that first company, and then with the second company, it got to that point, and he recognized it a lot quicker. It was like, oh, time to go. I've done my thing here. And that was just really interesting because you hear people say, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or just anyone can go out and do this thing. No, not anyone can. Because not everybody thinks like that. That is a very specific way of thinking. To not just have that much faith in yourself, but to need to be involved in everything. And so that kind of got me thinking about, excuse me, um, there are just, people think differently. And that kind of clarified it for me, at least. Like, oh, that's why some people work an assembly line their whole lives and are totally happy about it. And that's why some people wouldn't be happy doing that a day in their life and have to be they're more creative, or they're more solo stand. Some people work great by themselves. Other people collaborate and create amazing things.
In my business, I started out, well, not started out, but I eventually worked my way up to becoming a manager. And I mostly had to deal with temporary employees.
Okay.
So their motivation, it was rare that you got a really solid employee, because they were caught up in the momentum of, if I don't like this, I'll just take another assignment.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get devoted people to what you were trying to accomplish. And after a while, I didn't like the person I was becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I didn't like the bossy boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rather just, I mean, I can definitely work with people and collaborate with people.
Right.
But as far as overseeing, and I just had bad experiences in my case.
Well,
and that kind of turned me off to being like a boss type
manager. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not just the experiences. Some of it is definitely the experience, because that can turn you off of things too. But I've had bosses who were great at being the boss. You wanted to do things for them, and you knew some of the other people that you worked with were pains in the ass, or some of the people that were under them were pains in the ass. And they still seem to get the best out of that person too. It may not have been up to what the rest of us working wanted, but it was enough to get the job done and get by. And everybody, I don't know, respected the boss.
That's so important.
And that's really hard to do when you have all these personalities.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in that position. Yeah. So I don't know.
We had a regional manager, mm-hmm. and because of layoffs and stuff, he's no longer with the company. But what I liked about him was he actually listened, and he'd actually ask for your input concerning the way the office should be set up and what you have to accomplish, and is this okay? Is the height of this counter okay for you? Like real specific stuff. Like he actually, I felt like he cared.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I felt like he cared. He had a little bit of a standoffish thing. He's just, because he's a corporate type or whatever. But although he is a big Star Wars fan, so that's a big plus. And I just remember what he used to do. Like we wouldn't really talk that much, but we bond over sci-fi stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But occasionally, we'd be passing in the hallway, and he'd always, his way of saying hi was, "Hey, what's going on? Anything exciting?" That was his way of saying hi. And I would always go, "No, not really. Just, just work and home and stuff like that, and we go on our way."
Yeah.
One day, I thought of it right before he asked me, and he said, "Hey, what's going on? Anything exciting?" I went, "Yes, very, but I can't talk about it." And I walked away, and he just busted out laughing like that. He just busted out laughing.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah. See that, and that's nice to have that sort of relationship.
And we had a little rapport that way.
That's cool.
And and if he asked me to do something, usually I have no problem. But if he asked me to do something, I respected him as an authority figure in the company, and I would follow through and want to do a good job.
Right. Yeah, and that's the difference in a manager or some sort, like you said, authority. And you do things because the boss tells you to, or you do things willingly with a good. Even you do shitty things that you don't want to do, but you do them willingly and sort of with a good attitude
Mhm.
because you like the person who told you to do it.
That, and if they make sense to me.
Yeah, yeah,
If so,
exactly.
if
It's
somebody
not just
the time to explain 5 seconds, Paul, could you do this because this and this and this?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely. I
That's a
understand.
big thing. That's a big thing for me is like, well, this doesn't make any sense. And if the boss is willing to listen to me or give me an explanation, because that helps my process. That helps me do the thing I need to do. And it's not just I'm not just moving a pile of rocks from one section to the other. Some of the stuff I do requires thought. But even if just moving a pile of rocks from one area to another, I really want to know why, because that's hard work. Why am I moving this pile of rocks from here to there in this yard? Do you have a reason, or are you just giving me something to do?
Yeah. There's nothing worse than things being the norm or status quo,
Yeah.
but then they're outdated and there's no reason to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just it's not being taken care of or being changed or altered or improved. It's just okay, yeah, just do it that way. It's because that's the way we always done it, and just
Yeah.
get it done. Back to the cigar bars.
Yes.
I assume you guys drink there.
The cigar bar, yeah. The cigar store did not have
Adult beverages.
adult beverages on tap, as it were. But well, okay, so there's weird things. The cigar bar I go to is a beer and wine bar only, so they don't have hard alcohol. It's a different license apparently, but you can, yeah, they have 10 taps, I think, 10 or 12 taps, and then they have several bottles of wine on the wall that you can drink from. And
Oh, so
yeah,
they serve there.
oh yeah, I mean that's why they opened that place where they did, is like, okay, we're going to do a cigar bar. We want the beer. And it's fun because people can come in and there's a little sign that says, this is a cigar bar. Please don't smoke cigarettes. Because they don't want, well, the town that it's in, Pismo, Pismo Beach, famous Pismo Beach clams. Bugs Bunny tried to go there. You can't smoke anywhere. Well, California, you can't smoke inside of a building, generally speaking, a public place. And Pismo passed an ordinance, you can't smoke on the street anymore. So there aren't many places that you can smoke inside of legally anymore. Cigar bars and cigar stores being one of them, because that's their business. If you let cigarette smokers come in and hang out at the bar, they're going to take it over. And cigar smoke, as unpalatable as it is to some people, smells different than cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And if one person lights a cigarette in a cigar bar, you can smell it. But if I remember, take the ashtray out, dump it out. It's like a vacuum sealed mug that I got from work a long time ago, and it has a lid. So I use that because it won't burn, it won't stain. And so if I remember to dump that out and keep the lid on it, it's fine. I don't even notice it in the morning. So again, I smoke cigars, so I'm sort of not immune. I don't know what the right word is. I'm attuned to that already, so I don't notice when it smells like that because I'm used to it.
Yeah, it's like your house. Like your house has a smell,
right?
But nobody another person may smell it when they come in, but you're just that's you're used to that. That's especially dead bodies in the basement. Can you imagine getting used to that?
That's why I need a basement. Son of a. Yeah, no, that. Yeah, I know. You hear about those stories sometimes when the neighbors complain because something smelled. It smelled like putrid meat. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, some guy, his mom died and he still wants a collector check.
Yeah.
Well, she's in a closet somewhere.
Ew.
Ugh.
So
What
yeah,
I was going to ask you is, did you ever see like a real bad fight or argument break out in a cigar bar?
not. I mean, you mean like a fight, like physical
Either
fisticuffs?
one, or a real bad argument, or yeah.
I've heard voices get raised, but not very often. Usually, it's usually when voices start to get raised. Well, the specific guys I'm thinking of are the guys that I smoke with. There's a couple guys that are just loud, and when they start to discuss things, they get louder, and people can be offended by that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been offended by it by a couple times. And it's like, I'm sitting 3 feet away from you. You don't need to yell. Calm down. And I'm calm. And I get that because I'm sort of like that.
6 feet. You mean 6 feet?
No, this is before we could be 3 feet apart.
Okay.
And I mean, literally, like sitting right here. Like,
Yeah.
and you're talking and so, oh, this is no, then that's bullshit and blah, blah. Like, you're entitled to your opinion. So mostly it's that. And that's because I know these guys or the people that they're talking to know them. Well, actually, a couple of the guys I'm talking about, if there's anybody in the cigar bar, they tend to be very opinionated regardless. So, and my friend's cigar store was not very big. So 8 people and the place was kind of packed.
So you're in that conversation whether you want to
Yeah,
be.
whether you want to or not. It's like, hey, you're part of this. And somebody new well, and it's I know what I just said makes it not sound like this. It's a very cordial environment for the most part. Not always. Some places are different, and that's the people. But these guys that I smoked with and the lady who owned the shop, she made it very welcoming for people. You could come in, you sit down, have a smoke. She'd talk to you. You could talk to the other people, or you could sit there quietly and nobody would say a thing. But if you were going to sit there and have a smoke, we would probably more than likely try and talk to you. And if you didn't want to talk, that's fine. We'd go back to our conversations. But most of the people I know who go into, especially some random cigar store that they've never been to before, it's kind of nice to talk to the locals. Hey, we're here from Bakersfield for the weekend. Hey, I'm visiting from out of state and I saw your cigar store online. Hey, I'm traveling through New York City and this. So if you find some place that I've done that in Vegas, where I walked into a place in the middle of the day, just literally looked it up in the phone book and walked in. And where's the humidor? Went into the humidor, boom, came out and just had a conversation with the owner or whoever was there smoking.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That's part of the allure of it. You could stay at home in the comfort of your home and smoke,
right.
But it's good to get out and see the ambiance of the place. And yeah.
Well, and you do have interesting conversations because people have different lives. I think it's that social rule of you don't talk about politics and religion in a cigar store. Although a lot of things about cigar stores, you talk about politics.
I was going to say your guys do though, right?
No, these guys do. Yeah, it'll come up. So it just always seems to come up no matter what. And at that point,
topic now, dude.
What's that?
The very hot topic now. All those things. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, and again, that's if you can have a conversation and not talk about that, and that's sort of a nice thing sometimes. But yeah, right now it's tough. Right now it's tough.
You want to go and relax. You're trying to relax.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But it's also, do you know those people who think differently than you but you respect them as a person. They're a good person. They lean one way politically or another. And you can have really good conversations that aren't yelling, where everyone's not mad at the end of it, where you don't lose a friend over it. It's sort of what we were talking about earlier, when a boss takes 5 seconds to explain why they want you to do something. Well, I've had those conversations too, where someone explains why they're a conservative or why they believe the way they believe. And that's why they call themselves Republican, or that's why they call themselves Libertarian or Democrat or whatever it is, because this is the way they believe. They believe in small government. They believe in self-sustaining, or not self-sustaining, but self-reliance. And they don't think that the government should be giving handouts to people. And you get into a place where, okay, I see why, if you believe all those basic things, that definitely tends to lead towards this type of thing. Do you still believe in this particular representative of that? Oh no, that guy's an asshole. Whatever it is. But that's where you get down to the basics of, again, people just think differently.
Mm-hmm. As long as you guys are willing to listen to each other too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if it gets to a point where you don't want to hear anymore or whatever, but there's no reason for it to escalate,
Right.
or to be so disrespectful that I'm done with this guy.
Yeah.
Especially if it's the way you describe that. Oh, okay, I respect this guy for who he is. He's not whatever party he's into, it isn't the whole sum of him. It's just part of him.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a MAGA hat. That's a MAGA hat is kind of a FU to everybody that doesn't believe that way. And it's not that. It's a conversation, and it's more about the basics of why this person thinks so. I don't think this is a good thing for these reasons. But it's also not dispassionate, but with the overbearing passion taken out. So this is the way I think. You need to think this way. It's more like, this is how I was raised. This is how my parents thought. This is how I've gotten to this position by thinking about it and believing, yeah, small government is the way to move forward. And then going from there, or whatever, whatever the position is. And very few, or very, very often not the case, where the voices get raised, or it's just like, maybe I don't believe with everything that's going on right now, but overall I kind of like the way this is going. So that's kind of the conversations I have had. Not very often, but
well, that's good. At least it could be civil. Yeah. And you're not totally destroying that experience, and that, that's like a sanctuary for you guys.
Yeah. Well, that really is the point too, is like, at the end of the day, you're not changing anybody's mind. It's just a place to go hang out for a little while, get out of your normal life, quote unquote.
If you get caught up in that, I'm going to change mine.
Yeah. It's going to the movies.
Ugh.
It's going to the movies. You go to the movies to get away from it, whatever it is. Going to the cigar store is the same thing. You go to the cigar store and to try a new cigar, or try an old cigar, or just relax for a minute.
I wanted to get into us discussing podcasts.
Okay.
Which is, I know, the craziest thing. No.
Never heard of them. What's a podcast?
Yeah, what's a podcast? Yeah. Off the top of your head, what's your 3 favorites? What's your 3 top favorites?
Never Not Funny. I'm going to say The 40-Year-Old Boy and no, you know what? I'm taking 40-Year-Old Boy out. I'm going to say Never Not Funny, Jackie and Laurie Show, and Nerd Poker.
Nerd Poker?
Nerd Poker.
Okay.
That's Brian Hussein's D&D.
Oh, okay.
That's been going on.
Right. I've heard of that. I saw Brian Hussein live. I saw him in.
Did you? I've never seen him live. I'd like to.
Yeah, it was as great as you thought it would be. It was cool. I got to say hi to him at the end of the.
Nice.
End of his gig. Yeah, that was cool. A lot of the people that I still listen to, I first came across them on Never Not Funny.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing to think, like all these years later, I'm still aware of those people and what they're doing, and what kind of shows they have. Yeah. Do you have?
Wait. Who are yours? Who are your top three?
I'm gonna put them out there.
Okay.
Let's ask you this one more question. Do you have an honorable mention?
Absolutely, Mike Schmidt.
Okay.
I mean, the 40-Year-Old Boy is right there, but right presently, the last couple of weeks have been pretty good. I think he needs to change his format. I think I'm not telling anybody anything. This is just my opinion, and I know Mike wouldn't listen anyway. Mike's going to do what Mike's going to do.
Listen, save that conversation for the cigar bar, okay?
Okay. All right. I think at least right now because he's always complaining about he doesn't have anything to say, which is not true. He does.
I never heard that.
But he's, in a sense, he's right. He's not going out. He's not living his life. So he's in this little rut. And I think when he did the couple of episodes with Jess Harnell and what was the name of the band? I can't think of the name of that band that he was in.
Rock Sugar,
yeah. When he did those two different episodes with them, those were great because Mike had to change gears and not just be the funny guy. And yeah, he was driving the show, but he didn't have to create all of the content. And I think now would be a good time for him to do something like that. Talk to one of his friends. Talk to a couple of different friends.
Well, all the ones with Mex, I love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are always great. He's funny by himself, but he's equally funny when he's bouncing off of other people.
Right. That's why he liked Lily there.
Yeah, exactly. And she was sort of that silent partner where she didn't really talk. Well, she did sort of near the end. And but yeah, it's like one of the things that I find funny about Mike, and I think that I gravitated to when I first heard him is he kind of hurts the ones he loves the most, or like things that he wouldn't do to another person because he didn't know them. He reacts a certain way. Like there's a sense of betrayal because they're your friend. Or at least, okay, I'm reading into that. And the reason I characterize it that way is because I do that. Mm-hmm. I'll react to somebody that I care about in a worse way than just somebody walking down the street. If somebody says something to me that's offensive, whereas if it's somebody, my ex-girlfriend, or, well, not now, don't care about her at all now, but when we were dating sometimes, but friends of mine too, people will say something and I get really hurt or really offended by that. And I'm angry, and I'm genuinely angry at this person. Whereas if some dipshit walking down the street or even somebody I work with said it, I'm like, oh, fuck you, whatever. I don't care. And I see Mike do that.
Well, you're more invested in that person.
You're more invested.
Yeah.
And so
Mark Maron had a funny joke. I'm going to butcher it, but he had a funny joke. He goes, I know somebody loves me if I can make them cry.
Yeah.
That's how I know they love me.
that's that thing where that you react in a more, and maybe because it's more personal, and I think Mike does that. And at least that's something I recognized in him that I recognize about me that I'm trying to fix. But or trying to be more aware of when it happens.
Mhm.
So I think Lily was that close. I think they got, I don't even know why she left. Well, I know now physically that she wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
But I think if he just had somebody in even once in a while, I think it would reinvigorate it, because he does, when those shows that he does with Max, he gets to bounce off of somebody else. He doesn't have to generate 100% of the content, and that is better for him, because he's not necessarily reactionary, but I don't know if that's the right word even. He can set stuff up. He can set stuff up as well as return the volley, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He can take both sides of it.
Yep.
But he's allowed to then bounce stuff off of somebody or respond to things that are outside of him.
Well, he's a great guest.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, and I was going to say that you go back to those first 59 episodes of Never Not Funny. Those are some of the funniest episodes.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we're still listening to him, 13 years later?
Yeah, specifically because of Mike, or specifically to Mike, what he said. Not that Jimmy wasn't funny. Matt wasn't, because, well, I mean, Matt could be funny. But no, I mean, Matt wasn't the professional comedian that the other two guys were. So he was definitely very, if not tentative, then just, I don't know what the word is. I'd have to go back. I actually have to go back and listen, because I know I remember Matt saying things and him being funny at times, but these other two were professional comedians. This is what they did. And they were friends, so they knew each other, which is also why episode 60 happened and Mike had to leave. But Mike had some of the, oh my God, it was in the credits for a couple years, or maybe just that first year after, where Jimmy was saying something, and I'm sure it was something about his health and having to go to the doctor. And Jimmy just said, "You are a haunted," or Mike said, "You are a haunted house." Something to that effect. And it just totally fit, and it made Jimmy and Matt both laugh. And I'm just like, he can't say that to himself. He's not able to react to his, I mean, sometimes he can.
Yeah, the dynamic's not there.
Right.
Another funny line he had was, I think it might have been on a show where he visited as a guest. And I think he was talking, or he was commenting on something Elliot said. Like, Elliot will interject occasionally. So he said something, it fell flat. There was a little bit of silence. Mike turned to Elliot and said, "You are a comedy noose."
Yeah, he's excellent as a sniper. That's that sniper where a whole scene has to be set up, and you need to be able to go in and just go in a very concise way, just 3, 4, 5 words, boom, and everybody's knocked out.
Well, there was a because he streams on Twitch,
right?
And I don't think you've seen this, but he did a live Twitch with Pat Francis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a Christmas one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fans sent in gifts, and they opened them up live.
Yeah.
Dude, that was one of the best. That was one of the best collaborations, or just stream and stuff. They broke my balls because I sent Mike something, and they were opening up, and Pat was mocking me, mocking my notes, and busting my stones. It was like the greatest. It was the greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mike, Mike can. It doesn't matter who he's talking to. He can pull out that magic. No matter who he's talking to. Yeah.
Oh.
That's his superpower.
It kind of is.
And his curse is that he makes it look easy.
Yeah.
And it's not.
So, but yeah, I mean, definitely, Mike will always be in the top 5 for me. he got a little down on himself, and that always hurts me to watch or listen to, when he's just so into his own little thing, and I'm just like, but yeah, he's great at what he
Well, I
does.
think we all have a lot to get down about right now.
Yeah, but
And it's taking its toll on him. And the only reason why we know that is because he shares
yeah,
with us
yeah,
on the show. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. So I hate hearing him put that pressure on himself. I hate hearing him. Excuse me. I hearing anybody who's that down. I have to be aware of that with myself. You know, I can be in that little, not pity party, but when everything's not everything, when things are bad, when things are going wrong for you, or things aren't going the way you want them to, it's still like you got a roof over your head, you have a job, you have your car, you can get to work, you know, whatever it is, everything's not horrible. You're not living on the street. You're not, now, if you're almost, you know, if you're about to be on the street, that can be pretty bad. But for the most part, things aren't that bad. I mean, in essence, yes, the world is in a holding pattern right now, and that sucks. But there's still food on the shelves when I go to the store. The gas prices are more reasonable than they've been in a long time. And if you need to, you can go do some, heck, you can still get out, go for a drive, or, you know, call a friend. And yeah, you got to technically be socially distant, but hey, you know, if your friend's been socially distancing and you've been socially distancing, you're probably pretty safe at this point.
And another point I wanted to say is that you feel safe where you are.
Yeah.
In your area, where you live, like your home base.
Right.
There's not a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of crime or whatever. There's not a lot of stuff going on. That's so important.
Yeah.
That you feel like when you leave your job, you're going home to a safe place.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big deal right now.
Yeah, it is. I understand that. Well, and that's why, you know, when I get into those moods, I have to remember, no, everything isn't horrible. A lot of things are horrible. But at the end of the day, most of that doesn't affect me. It affects me on the worldwide scale, in the view of everything that's going on. Yes, it affects me. In my personal life right now, it's not that bad.
Right.
So
it's not interrupting your essentials.
Yeah.
In your life, but you can't help but feel down because of the intense stuff that's going on.
To the best of my knowledge, we've never been in this situation. Any of us.
No, not to this degree. No.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is one of those things where we're all a little bit off, and I get it, and I give people a lot of leeway. So,
right.
Except Mike.
Right. Except Mike. Right.
Except Mike. No.
Yeah, screw him.
So
you want to hear my three?
I do, absolutely.
All right. The Dana Gould Hour. Free and worth it. That's a tag he has in there.
As soon as you said it, I was thinking, is that a podcast? And then I heard the way you said it. I go, no, that was Dana Gould. That was his tag for his.
Yeah. Well, Tom Kinney does the voiceover for him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're actually friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the tags. He has a very retro sound to his podcast. He plays like old. I think he was using the Ed Wood theme song, which is like bongos and 60s kind of hipster sounding
music. I need to add that to my Pocket Cast, because I don't think I've ever heard, and I love Dana Gould.
What he does is he'll do multiple interviews
mm-hmm.
with different people, and he'll take out the best parts of their conversations.
Oh, nice.
And put those in the episode. So he'll kind of cherry pick through, like he'll be talking to Eddie Pepitone, and then he'll be talking to, another comedian or an actress or a musician.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, he'll do like a featurette where he'll do an entire section on like Richard Nixon or Elvis or
nice.
Rod Serling, stuff like that. You get to hear certain facts that you weren't aware of.
Yeah.
And then he'll give you information as far as like what references he pulled it from. So
okay, cool.
A movie or a book, and if you want to, get those things, he's got and if you're a fan of his, he's funny. His references, and his jokes and that type of stuff. I saw him live with Bobcat.
Oh wow!
I think that was the last live comedy show I saw. It's over a year ago, but yeah, that was really good. They basically just traded stories on stage.
Nice.
And they they did some off the cuff stuff of what was going on, and that was a really great night of comedy.
Nice.
I mean, if you have room for another podcast, I definitely suggest you check into that one. And you don't have, like we talked about this before. You don't have to be a completist. You can look and see who his guests are, and you can bounce around because they talk about some current event things, but it's not like you have to listen to it in order.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It has more to do with whatever subjects they're talking about at that time. Yeah. Next one is Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Joe, I just like his style, the way he talks, the way he has a conversation. He is generally curious about all different types of people.
Mm-hmm. Is this on YouTube, or does he have an actual podcast?
Yeah, he's a YouTube guy. He is moving to Spotify.
Oh wow! Okay.
And he got a like $100 million deal to move to be exclusively at Spotify, but that's not for like another year or so. But he has introduced me to scientists, actors, other comedians that I still follow. He's helped me with diet, exercise, that type of stuff. He's very inspirational. There is an episode that was on recently. It was maybe last week. He's talking to a evolutionary biologist.
Okay.
Professor. His name is Brett Weinstein or Weinstein. It's probably Weinstein. And it's a really great episode. I can't recommend it enough. He gives his opinions about what's going on in the world. And he kind of had a micro experience of it at his college that he taught, where extremists kind of took over the college and kind of took over their authority figures and their police, the college police, and where it became almost like a witch hunt for him and for his colleagues.
Yeah.
And he's like, and there's actually another Rogan episode of when that initially happened a couple of years ago, and he talks about it. And he gives he has the foresight of saying, if this gets out into the world to this extreme, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. And
that's pretty much what this most recent episode's about.
Okay.
On in society and the extremists and what they're demanding, and what's plausible, what's crazy, it's a really great episode. Anyway, that's why I like Rogan so much, because he introduces you to so many different points of view and people.
How much is that? How long is that? Because he's every day, right?
No, I don't think he's every day. I think he puts out 2 to 3 a week.
Okay.
Because they're like 3 hours.
Yeah. See, that's my problem. But that's why I kind of stopped listening to Nerdist way back when. Is it became too much, and I was trying to cherry pick because I liked those guys together,
Mhm.
Matt, Jonah, and Chris, and then they had really cool people on. But it was too much to continue listening to every single one, plus the other shows that I was listening to, and then I'd get introduced to somebody new. I only have so many hours that I can listen, and there's certain ones that I don't want to miss. So yeah.
Well, to me, there's the podcast you're going to listen to every week, like Mike. I'm going to listen to Mike every week, no matter what, no matter when it comes out. And then the ones that you cherry pick, depending on the guests. Number three. Number three.
See, it's hard. It's difficult because
No, well, yeah, I'm. It's the top five. Really, I'm kind of bouncing on the list. Top five. I would say the Kurt Metzger podcast. I would say is number three.
Oh, okay.
Because I really like his points of view. I really like that he was a writer. He wrote for Amy Schumer. He wrote for Sacha Baron Cohen. Plus, he does his own stand-up.
Right.
He has a lot of great jokes, and I just like the way and the guests he has on he's an eclectic people. It's mostly comics, but it's like all different types of comic, women, different races, different people that are trans, and yeah, he just has a whole array of different points of view on, which I like. And then they talk about current events, what's going on.
Oh, cool. Okay. I just had to look him up because I know the name, but I don't know him. I mean, I don't think I've seen his stand-up.
Yeah, he's more known as a writer.
Okay.
He's had more experience as a writer, but I think he's only had like one special.
Oh, okay.
Which I saw him perform. I saw him working out in Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
At the Helium Club, and it's called White Precious. That's the name of his special.
White Precious or Quite Precious?
White Precious.
White Precious.
He gets into an argument with this woman over a taxi cab. She tries to take it from him.
Yeah.
And she gets all indignant and in his face and stuff. And she's a hefty woman. So he goes, "Well, take the cab, White Precious." He called her White Precious. Referring to that movie.
Now I get it. Okay.
To the movie, yeah.
Yes. All right. That's funny. There's some humor in that.
Yeah, and I would say my honorable mention is Mike as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never not going to listen to Mike. That's
right.
That's that thing. But there different things come in and out, and I just got told last night. Oh, before I forget, while you were talking about Dana Gould, that reminded me, I need to add Dana Gould, and I need to add the Proopcast. Greg Proops is one of the funniest people.
Oh, yeah, the smartest man in the world.
Yeah, oh my God.
He's very funny, yeah.
He's very funny.
Well, he created Podfest.
Yeah.
He did the Dork Forest with Jackie. And that was one of the greatest episodes I ever saw, man. I really liked that a lot.
Yeah. It's just amazingly funny, amazingly quick.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy that has odd looks at things, how he comes up with his stuff, and just so yeah.
That's what makes those people unique.
Yeah. What you got for me this week?
They're total mysteries this week. I didn't set them.
I like it.
Yeah. So the first one is caffeine or nicotine?
Oh man, you found my two favorite teens. Uh,
Except for the teenage.
yeah, caffeine. No, 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 no. You're not getting me in trouble that way. Uh, uh, if I had to give one up tomorrow, I think I could give up nicotine. So I'm going to go with caffeine.
Okay. Well, that means you couldn't smoke cigars, right?
Right.
Oh, wow.
But I think I could give it up. I haven't chosen to, but I think in the long run it would be harder for me to never have a soda or a Red Bull or coffee again than it would be for me to just stop smoking cigars. I think I could probably not smoke a cigar the rest of my life, and it's for me it's always been more of a time killer. It's something to do with my hands and my mouth that don't involve food. Because if I'm sitting there watching TV, not smoking a cigar, I probably got a bag of chips in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, do you see nicotine as an advantage, like you use caffeine?
no,
It's just part of
it. The nicotine is not the thing that I get off on. It's literally having something to do with my hands
mm-hmm.
and smoking, and and you're doing something and having something to drink and watching TV or having a conversation.
Okay, yeah, it's just a byproduct of
yeah.
that.
It's not eating. It's not having, because if I'm just sitting watching TV, 90% of the time, whether I'm hungry or not, if there's a bag of chips, I'll have the bag of chips, or maybe I'll make a sandwich and then sit down and watch something. So, but if I didn't have coffee or caffeine or something like that, I could probably get by, but man, afternoons would be tough. Especially just after lunch, that little, okay, I need to
crash. Yeah.
Little crash after, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I could probably go the rest of my life without nicotine. I don't know that I could make it without caffeine. Heck, I need to go get my cold brew out of the fridge right now. It's been sitting there for 24 hours now. I'm ready. Got new coffee, man.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to get caffeine too.
Yeah.
Ways, yeah.
How about you? Well, see, you don't do nicotine though, right? You don't smoke?
No.
So
I don't smoke, so I don't have the personal experience to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
I would, yeah. I mean, it's easy to choose caffeine because that's what I have.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in the nicotine because it's supposed to help your cognitive function.
And
your alertness.
It does. It does. It's easy to overdo it. Occasionally, I've gotten lightheaded and kind of you feel queasy and kind of lightheaded, and just the sweats start, and you're just like, good Lord, why am I feel like crap all of a sudden? And it's just it's the nicotine just kind of hits your system, and it's like, wow. And they suggest at that point that you have a Coke or something, a sugary beverage. The sugar apparently counteracts that.
Okay.
What I've been told.
Yeah.
So
that would be my only reason to try, like gum or like a patch.
Right.
I'm definitely never going to smoke. That's just not me.
Yeah.
Although it's weird. I've never smoked. You try it as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got me interested in trying a cigar now.
Next time you're out here,
so
if you want,
if we ever, yeah,
or if I make it out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we have a cigar bar very close to me.
Perfect. There we go. We can go in there and hang out, and you don't even have to smoke.
No, I could just start a fight with somebody.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Here's one I like. It's a little wordy, but if you could time travel, but only once, would you travel 6 months into the future or 6 months into the past?
When you say once, is this round trip or you're now in this
No, you
timeline?
can either go forward or back into the future. Back into the future. Back into
The future.
Yeah.
Hey,
Marty.
Marty.
My Dr. Brown. Yeah.
Yes. I think I would go back 6 months. Do you want to know why, or are you okay with that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna get all the money I can, and the day after the market crashes, I'm investing in whatever. Now, I'm assuming that this doesn't just happen. I don't just wake up and it's 6 months ago. That I'm gonna do this by, my choice, and I have the day, and we're gonna go in and do this.
Yes,
I'm gonna
you're
do all the
totally
research.
aware. Yes.
I'm going to do all the research I can, find out when the market crashed due to COVID, who went down the most and who recovered the most, or who went down the least and recovered. I'm going to go in and do that, and then, I'm going to make that happen. But
would you try to warn anybody about anything?
How? See, I was under the impression you're just going to go back and live your life again, and the only one that knows what happened is you.
Yes, but you can talk to anybody you want. You can interact with anyone you want.
How high up do you think I can get? That's the thing. It's like, I think this is one of those ones where you walk around telling everybody that something's coming that's going to be horrible, and you sound like a crazy person. The end is near. The end is near. And I am not somebody who is powerful enough that I'm going to sound anything but crazy. Mm-hmm. I can go stand on the corner. I can call the newspapers. I can call the call-in shows. I can go online. I can start a website. And I just sound like a crazy person talking out of their ass.
Well, you would try to warn your friends and family first.
Right.
That would be the first thing.
I'm here from 6 months in the future, and don't go out. Yes, I would let you know, Paul. Yes, I would let you know. So, by the way, in about 4 months, we're going to start a podcast. What? Yeah, don't worry about it. You'll get it in a couple months. You'll figure out what's going on.
And that's the one thing I wouldn't believe.
Exactly. You're out of your mind.
You're insane.
No, there's going to be this website that none of us have ever heard of, but apparently it's been around for years, and we're going to start using that. So yeah, I didn't think of that originally, but yeah, I probably would. I would try and warn everyone. But I'm trying to think who. I haven't been personally affected by the COVID myself. So it's not like I would go and tell any of those people, like, do something different, because everybody so far has been pretty safe. And like I said, it's hard to tell people. Now, once we first heard about this, I would start telling people this is going to be serious. You need to take care of yourselves and stay away. But then you get into that whole thing of like, well, where do you feel about time travel? Can you affect future events if you go to the past, or are they just predestined to happen that way? Or I don't know. How about you?
I mean, the money idea, yeah. I mean, that's a given. Everybody would think of investing or make sanitizer, hand sanitizer.
Exactly.
That type of stuff. Yeah, you'd want to invest in that.
That's how to short the market.
Me, I want to rip the Band-Aid off, dude.
So,
I want to know who won the election. I want to know what statues are left or not left. I want to know all that stuff.
So 6 months in the future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you answer me when I said this is one way, right?
This is one way.
Once you're there, you're there.
Yeah, it's either back or
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Time, yeah.
So what's now? It's end of June. So you'd come back the end of December, basically. So the outcome of the election is known, but the inauguration hasn't happened yet. So interesting. That'll be an interesting time. That's for sure. Either way. So okay, that's a good question. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, you're the one coming up with all these. I think I've only done it once, and it was hard. It was, you have to think about it. And
it's fun. It's fun. I like it. Okay. Do you like a comedy podcast or a stand-up special? Which do you prefer, basically?
Wow, that's tough. Is it the same comedian that we're talking about? Because I like stand-up specials because you get to hear what they've been working on for the last year or two. But I also like podcasts because there's a continuity to it. And I know that next week there's going to be another podcast and I get to hear these people talk, and they're so totally different from each other that, wow. This is tougher than I thought.
Yeah. Think about the greatest stand-up you ever saw and your favorite episode of whatever podcast.
I'm going to say podcast just because of the continuity. The greatest stand-up I've ever seen. And yes, you can enjoy some of them more over and over again, but it's always going to be the same. And a podcast is going to change. It's going to be, and there's going to be another one next week, and there's going to be another one next week, and there's going to be another one next week. And yeah, I would go with a podcast.
Okay. Yeah, as big as a comedy fan I am, I watched and listened to comedy podcasts more than I watch specials.
Oh, right.
And it could be my favorite comedians. I just like the inside baseball that you get with podcasts.
Yeah.
It's my sports radio.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because they talk about the ins and outs of their act and jokes. And
I like the way of looking at it.
There's a cool podcast with Mark Norman. I don't know if you know who Mark Norman is. He's kind of on people's radar now. He's coming up. And Sam Morril.
Okay.
And what they do is they bounce premises off of each other and joke. Oh, wow. Yeah, at a certain point, like they have a regular conversation. And then towards the end of the podcast, I have this premise about a waitress, and then either the other guy will tag it or say that's good, and try this angle, that angle. It's real. I love that stuff, man.
What's it called?
I don't know if they have a name for it.
Oh, okay.
I know it's on Mark Norman's page on his YouTube.
Oh, okay. On his YouTube, okay.
Yeah, it's on his YouTube, and it might be on Sam Morril's YouTube page too. They both released comedy specials for free on YouTube at the same time, around the same time. Yeah. Oh, and Mark recorded his last special, at Dynasty Typewriter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, which I thought that was pretty cool.
Hey, I've been there.
I love that theater, man. Yeah, I was hoping to come out again this year and just like hang out there.
Yeah, that's right. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the reason we last saw each other, did you listen to the new podcast from Chris Mancini with Neil?
No, but I saw it announced on Instagram.
Yeah, it popped up in my feed, and I'm like, what? I think I saw it on Twitter.
What's the name of that?
Let me see if it's still in here. Oops.
Well,
What are you watching?
what are you watching? Right. Okay, yeah. So that's great. I'm looking forward to that.
With Neil Wickley.
No, it's funny
Wickley.
that college professor I was talking about,
Yeah.
Einstein, he sounds like Chris.
Does he really?
He has Chris's voice. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So much so that I'm like, yeah, that sounds like Chris. And he has a great podcast with his wife. They're college professors, so it's very, could be very dense. Yeah, very wordy and intellectual and stuff. But I like their points of view. I like how they address stuff.
And what's that called?
That is called the Dark Horse Podcast.
The Dark Horse Podcast.
Nothing to do with the comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dark Horse Podcast.
If you're interested in their point of view about society and current events, it's really good.
Oh, that would be fun. Or that seems like it would be fun to listen to. So
it's very serious. I mean, they have senses of humor, but for the most part, it's very serious.
Before I forget, I was going to say the What Are You Watching podcast is going behind a paywall. It's going to be a Patreon thing. So the first one was kind of like, hey, this is going to be our new thing.
Free sample.
What's that?
Free sample, like Trader Joe's.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to get on the Patreon, I guess. I haven't done that before, but I should. I actually want to give to Jackie and Lori and the Dork Forest and who else am I listening? Nerd Poker. There's a bunch of, and Mike. I always give Mike cash when I see him, or not always, but when I see Mike, I tend to give him some cash for the show.
The Amazon thing.
Yeah. Well, I do the Amazon thing as well, but sometimes I forget. And I don't know. He's the only one I've ever done it for.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it automatically every time I go into Amazon, but I don't know, or if I have to go to his link and go back into Amazon each time individually.
Will you stop saying it that way? That's my bit.
I was just going with what you did, man. Amazon.
Muffin or cupcake?
Cupcake.
Would you like to defend your answer, sir?
It's got to have frosting. I don't dislike a muffin, but a cupcake with the right amount of frosting and just that, yeah.
Okay. They're very close.
Yes.
They're very close. Any particular type of cupcake?
Not particularly. It's a treat. It's sweet. It's got frosting on it. It's I prefer something that is sweet as opposed to some weird kind of, I don't know, carrot cake kind of. I mean, carrot cake's still sweet, but I want like a white cupcake with a vanilla frosting, or a chocolate cupcake with a chocolate frosting, or a red velvet. Red velvet cupcakes are really good. I like those too.
Like a real rich icing.
Yeah, with a real rich sour cream or frosting, something like that.
Okay.
And there are plenty of cupcakes. Plenty of muffins. You can get a chocolate chip muffin. You can get a blueberry muffin. You can get some sort of pumpkin spice muffin. And they're plenty sweet as well. But, yeah, going cupcake.
So do you just like a plain cupcake where it's just the icing and the cupcake, nothing inside of it?
Ooh, if you can get something stuffed, I mean, like a cream filling or something like that, a custard, that's really good. But yeah, just a plain cupcake is fine too.
Okay. Gotta go muffin.
Oh man,
Gotta go muffin, dude.
tension.
Even a corn muffin is better. You cut it. Listen. You cut it open in half. Put some butter on either side. Put it in a toaster oven.
Ooh.
Okay, and you could do that with other muffins as well.
Oh yeah.
With a corn muffin with the butter on it.
Honey butter. Honey butter.
Blueberry muffin.
Okay.
You know, like I'm a big carrot cake fan. I think I established that. So there's the carrot cake muffin with the icing in the middle. Ooh-ha.
That would be good.
Ooh. I said blueberry muffin reminds me of that scene in Casino. Did you ever see that scene?
No, I haven't seen Casino.
Oh, there's a scene where De Niro is pretty much the manager of the casino.
Yeah.
So he's in the kitchen with the chef. And he goes, look at this. Look at this. You get 28 blueberries with one muffin and you get 3 with another. I want the even amount of blueberries in every muffin.
I've heard that reference before and never got it. So okay, yeah, now I get it. Now I get it.
I'm like, do you have any idea how long that's going to take? Do it. You know. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, see? Difference of opinion, but we got it out there. We discussed it. And we both have our opinions. That's awesome.
We both still have respect for each other.
Exactly. Just like a cigar store. It's amazing.
Right. See,